If you love stories of dark secrets and mysterious academies, then these recommendations are perfect for you. This is part 2 of my Dark Academia recommendations for autumn 2024, and we will talk about TV shows. Number 1, The Magicians. The first season of this fantasy drama came out in 2015, and it's based on the trilogy of novels of the same name by Lev Grossman. A group of students at a secret magical academy discovers that the magic they once thought fictional is real and perilous. As they refine their skills, they confront dark forces threatening the school and the world. This is a coming-of-age drama, but a little warning, there is a lot of sex, use of substances, a lot of weird stuff goes on in this show, and I would have been happier without it. There are also a few brutal scenes, so maybe check out trigger warnings for this one. But I loved the premise especially. So this guy who loved magic and tales about magic now gets to attend a magic school. And I'm not sure if, based on source material, this is all we could get or if they cancelled it. I cannot recall, but I just remember that I wasn't satisfied by the ending or how the series developed. And yet I was still intrigued by the magic system and the time spent in school. But this recommendation is a bit tricky because it's both maybe a young adult, but there are also several problematic parts. So I'm not sure if you're really looking for a new magic system or a magic school, then you might want to check this one out. Number 2, A Discovery of Witches. This is a British fantasy that went on from 2018 to 2022, and it's based on the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness, and the series is named after the first book in the trilogy. A forbidden romance ignites between a secretive witch and a mysterious vampire as they unite to uncover the secrets of an ancient manuscript. Their bond defies supernatural taboos, drawing them into a dangerous conflict that could reshape the magical world. The streaming availability of this one really depends on where you are, but I loved the first season, especially the scenes in the library, and I would consider this Dark Academia especially for this because the protagonist is a scholar. And even though not all seasons take place in academia or we don't really see much of her being a scholar, I would still consider this Dark Academia. And of course, this would fit in my witcher recommendations, supernatural recommendations, but I wanted to keep it here because I loved the world building and the setting in Oxford. I loved the fact that it's not just about witches, even though I'm more than happy about them, but there are also other magical creatures. That being said, I found the following seasons rather disappointing, or increasingly disappointing, because I felt like they didn't meet my expectations given the awesome premise. And that's something that I noticed whenever you have a story about vampires as well. The stakes might look like they're high, but to me it's just a game of I need to protect you, you need to protect me, and so on. And I mean, this doesn't apply to this show only, also to other ones. But it really feels like that's it. The mere fact of you existing is a problem, therefore nothing else really counts or matters. The only thing that counts is survival, and it's just a game of who is more powerful. And that's disappointing to me because, again, the premise didn't really make me think that this would be yet another vampire story in which these were the stakes. But it's not exactly like this, but I don't want to spoil it, of course. So if you watched it, did you get the same feeling? Were you disappointed by the stakes? Either way, I loved this show enough to watch it multiple times. Probably because I wish there were more shows with a similar premise. Number 3, Endeavour. This is a British detective drama I've talked about in a video dedicated entirely to this show, and it's based on a series of novels by Colin Dexter. Set in 1960s Oxford, this prequel follows young detective Endeavour Morse as he begins his career after leaving university and a brief time in the military. Under the guidance of DI Fred Thursday, Morse investigates complex cases, laying the foundation for his future as a legendary inspector. So if you're confused, Endeavour is the third installment of the Inspector Morse series because it follows the original Inspector Morse series, which came out in 1987, and its spin-off, which was Louis in 2006. And why did I list it here? Because there are specific episodes that take place in Oxford University or in which scholars or students are involved in the mystery, the murder, whatever it's going on. So here is the list of episodes. You can pause the video, take a screenshot, but I will also list them down below. And either way, the entire series takes place in Oxford. So if you enjoy the aesthetic of the University of Oxford, you might still enjoy the other episodes. And in this case, the dark side of academia relates to both the privilege and the corrupted behavior that some scholars or students have, and the fact that this is a detective drama. So of course there's always some crime, some murder, something going on that is dark and maybe takes place in academia. Either way, Endeavour is one of my absolute favorite TV shows, and I would recommend the entire thing. Number 4, The Order. This is a horror supernatural drama that came out in 2019. College student Jack Morton joins a secret society to avenge his mother's death, only to uncover dark family secrets and a hidden war between werewolves and dark magic practitioners. As he navigates a world of magic and monsters, he finds unexpected allies and enemies within the Order. This is quite similar to The Magicians, in the fact that it's a young adult series, and this one was cancelled after I think 2 seasons, and that's a pity because we didn't get an ending. I believe it had potential despite being a young adult drama, and again, I'm a sucker for magic, academia, witches, magical creatures, you name it. So I still checked it out. And yes, maybe it's not the best thing to watch out there, but if you enjoy these themes, you should still give it a go, despite being cancelled after the 2nd season. Number 5, Honourable Mentions. I decided to structure this video a bit differently from the other recommendation videos, because I've talked about several TV shows that would fit into the dark academia category, and these are Motherland, where you have witches and a magical school and academia. Wednesday, I just talked about it in the most recent upload. Lock and Key, because the protagonists are attending high school and several scenes and problems take place in high school. And also Safe, which is a mystery TV show I recommended you a few months back at the beginning of the series for autumn 2024. And so I'm not going deep into any of these because you can watch the corresponding videos. But also I have some more recommendations which I would call, if you like dark academia, you might also like these. And I have 3 subcategories. The first one is cozy, the second one is mystery or intriguing, and the third one is dark. So for the cozy category, I would say Gilmore Girls, in which we follow Rory, who first attends high school, but not a regular high school, a really privileged one, and later on in the seasons we see her going to college, and not any college, an Ivy League one. So you can really see how toxic academia can be, even in a cozy show like Gilmore Girls, that if you don't know, where have you been? And I would say it's dark academia, yes, because it's a toxic place, but also because the older I get, the more I see these traits and how devastating it can be to attend college. And even before that, the pressure of following a certain path decided by who it depends. And perhaps it's society that forces you to do that, and maybe it's not meant for you. But also, you can see in this show how different is the academic world compared to the real world once you are in the job market. So there are several interesting aspects that can be noticed if you watch Gilmore Girls thinking about it as dark academia. Then The Chair, which I would call cozy because it's a comedy drama and unfortunately was cancelled after the first season. And this is perhaps too real. It really hits too close to home. If this wasn't a comedy, it would really be too difficult for me to watch, because it portrays the challenges that minorities face in academia, in university specifically in this show, but this could easily apply to high school too, because certain behaviors and privilege are the same, so in all education. I would really recommend you watch The Chair. And the last one in the cozy category is Anne with an E, because of the school setting, especially when it comes to being bullied or being accepted. It really shows how being different isn't welcomed in schools or institutions in general. They normally don't accommodate for people who are slightly different. In this case, Anne, the protagonist, is not made to be locked in a classroom for hours, and she often requires a different approach. And this series also shows the harsh reality of education in the 1900s. Later on in the series, maybe ironically, Anne will take the first steps to become a teacher. And if you want to know more about that part, so when she is a teacher, you can read the books, because the series stopped before that point. Either way, this is heartwarming despite all the challenges that the protagonist faces, and I would highly recommend you watch it. For the mystery category, we have Veronica Mars, in which the protagonist is the daughter of a sheriff who has been removed from his position after the protagonist's best friend has been murdered. So the entire series starts with this murder mystery, and it all takes place in high school. And when it was on, I remember I loved watching Veronica Mars because it was finally clever protagonist, and it wasn't just about teenagers attending high school, because there was this murder mystery in the background for most of the series. And a bit similar to this one is Smallville, which can be considered dark for different reasons. If you don't know, Smallville is a reimagining of Clark Kent's life as a teenager, and so you can see all the struggles of finding his place in this world, being an alien and fighting enemies, while still being a teenager and dealing with the day-to-day struggles that you face attending high school. And so the dark side comes from this unconventional type of trouble that he's facing on the side. Another mystery intriguing recommendation is How to Get Away with Murder, in which you follow privileged law students who think that they are above the law. And this is a brilliant TV show that really makes you question academia and ethics. And then a recent release, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is a bit more young adult, but again, it takes place in high school and it follows a murder mystery. And sometimes it's a bit lighthearted, some other times it's definitely dark. And finally, I gave you recommendations for some Endeavour episodes, and I only have one episode of Poirot that takes place in a prestigious English prep school, and it's in season 11, episode 2, Cat Among the Pigeons. And finally, for the third category, dark, we have You, which is a deeply disturbing TV show, and it's not really a spoiler, the fact that I put it in this video, because there is one season in which part of the show takes place in academia, but I won't get into the details to avoid spoilers. Then we have Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and this is great if you think about the fact that we have both a regular high school and a magic school, but I relatively enjoyed it because honestly I couldn't stand the protagonist, and this is why I didn't recommend it in my spooky, witchy or supernatural videos, because truly the main character is beyond insufferable, at least for me. I don't know if I don't like the actress or the character portrayed in this way, because I enjoyed Sabrina the Teenage Witch back in the day when it was on, so I don't really know. But they employ a lot of dark magic too, so if you're into that, check it out. And finally, 13 reasons why. This is not only a mystery, but the show also deals with serious issues, and lots of trigger warnings are required in this case. So it's beyond dark in a certain way, so I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. But it takes place again in high school. Now you know about Dark Academia TV shows, and you're gonna need to go ahead and watch part 1, which is Dark Academia movies. Let me know if you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.